everyone. This is the third in a series of conversations we have called SPAN, and I'm very happy we have created as part of this 8th Coil Festival and produced with Bomb magazine. So we've had so far the artist from the Curator's piece and Joel Whitney, Emily Johnson with Jack Chen, and today we have I think two remarkable people, Annie Dawson, who's got a show in the festival called Magical, but who I think in recent years has been better known for her work with kind of new ways of thinking about how technology will and can interact with theatre, from Democracy in America, where you auctioned off the entire contents of the show before you made it in an online space, to Hello Hi There, which was two chatbots talking to each other about a philosophical conversation between Michel Foucault and Noam Chomsky, and an upcoming piece on the boards later this year, and then I think next year in New York, called False Peach. Did I get the title right?
False Peach, yeah.
False Peach, yeah. Annie is talking to Kevin Slavin, who is a remarkable thinker in terms of how gaming strategies intersect with living strategies, algorithms changing our everyday life. He was the founder of a company called Area Code that created a gaming company that was enormously successful, as I have read anyway. And I think about how the idea of algorithmic strategies and structures are changing the way we live in the physical world, and vice versa. So I'm going to hand over to them. So I want to thank particularly the Albert and Anne Mansfield Foundation, who have really generously supported this first series of SPAN. It's something that I think we hope will grow and happen, whether during Coil or at other times of year. It's something that I think PS 122 needs to do, and that we're very committed to engaging in and thinking about not just how the arts are influenced by social, political, economic changes, but indeed how they can influence those changes. And so what we hope from these, I think, is to start a number of conversations between artists and people, luminaries in other fields, that really cross-pollinate in a very genuine and hopefully kind of far-reaching way. So thanks for being here, and enjoy it.
I mean, I think the reason why, so Vallejo asked me if I would think of somebody who is not like in my immediate, field, and I thought of you immediately because of the way that you are thinking kind of structurally and systemically about what is an algorithm and how does it infect, affect, reshape, structure the world that we touch and see and deal with every day. Mm-hmm. And this was really interesting to me because I've been working on making algorithms visible in a way in theater and performance.
Right. So when the audience sees an algorithm at work, how do they read it? How are they to process it?
Right. And basically, with Hello Hi There, which is really exactly as Vallejo said. It's like two chatbots. They're on stage. They have a database full of language that they can pull from, and it's a live situation where they're mixing and matching statements and creating a conversation. So basically, we ended up completely cheating and just putting more theater on top in a certain way, right. Making another interface that would seem to demonstrate the working of the algorithm underneath, but it's complete bullshit.
This is what's interesting.
Yeah.
In a way, the stuff that got me started thinking about algorithms was making games, which are basically algorithms that you engage with, but it was really the financial algorithms, and I'll do a very quick thing, which is just to say that if you're not on this tip, that basically the vast majority of what is happening in the stock market it no longer has any human participation or even supervision at this point. It's a bunch of algorithms that are at war with each other. But the interesting thing is that nobody really has a sense of what is actually happening, which is why they crash all the time. There's this thing called the flash crash in 2010, and then it happens all the time. And then there's this company in Chicago called Nanex, and they are hardcore data scientists, right? Like, all they do is just track the stock market. All they do is track algorithms in the stock market. And there's a guy there who had a blog for a while where he just put up, they called them crop circles of the day. And they would pull out algorithms that they would catch in the wild. So it's just like they don't really know where it came from. They don't know its explicit instrumental purpose, but they can see that it is doing this. So there was like the knife, the carnival, the Boston Shuffler, Cayenne Mountain.
But the reason why we don't know what they are and no one knows what they are and that they're like catching them in the wild is because they're all owned by like individual firms and they're developed in house and they're set out into the market.
They're let loose into the market.
Are they self-learning? Are they
some are? Yeah. Some are genetic. Yeah. It's analogous to if somebody let a virus loose on your computer. It's just. But your computer is like the United States economy, right? And so that's what's happening. But so the interesting thing, and just to bring it back, is that there is no utility in making these pictures and giving them names, and that there was just this guy who worked there who just did it. It was like a raw impulse, right? It doesn't help them understand anything, but it helps them feel like they understand something.
Yeah.
And this is and this is the thing. It's like what he was doing was creating, tiny stories, tiny pieces of bullshit, right? Around the hard facts, just to give like some sense that this has that it has a shape like a human, right? A shape like a story, right? And they did it for a while, and then they stopped doing it because they just got so busy, whatever. But it's like, for me, it's the same reason that when we navigated with stars, they had to say okay, it's just too goddamn hard if you just try to be like, well, I think that one was a little bit further over there, and also these other ones might have been that way. It's like they gave them names and they gave them stories, and then they created mythologies around them, because without that, it's just stuff. Right, and that is such a terrifying world, right? And that's the thing is that to stare into actual algorithmic action is it is really like the darkness. It has a horrifying quality, I think. And I think the question is, how do you add these layers on top of that so that thing lifts up and is visible, but also has a shape that is human again.
Right. And then of course everyone, when I talk about the things that I'm working on, people always say but the really interesting thing is the working of the algorithm, so you have to make that, that's what we want to know. We don't want to just get the output that looks like a theater piece or something, however weird it may be. We want to really know what the thing is doing,
Right.
But, you can't really look into the darkness. I'm thinking there's one of the speeches that you gave that I saw online, and you say this thing that's just so unbelievably obvious, except for the sense that no one ever talks about it and no one ever thought it before, which is that in the Terminator movies, there's that thing where you look for a second through the eyes of the Terminator, and there's all this oh wow, this is what a robot sees.
Yeah.
Then it's got the data of the coordinates and the whatever information, and of course, why would the hell would the Terminator need to read
Terminator
that?
Doesn't need to read English. The Terminator doesn't need to write something that it can read, right? It just fucking acts, right?